Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So firstly, I'd just like to apologise for this podcast being a bit of a late upload. I usually record the podcast over the weekend, but last weekend I had a really bad cold. I still have got it slightly, but my voice doesn't sound as kind of gross as it did last weekend, so I thought I would wait for it to clear up a little bit before I record this week's podcast. But anyway, without rambling on, today I'm going to be talking through a completely random favourites mix that Apple Music has made based on my profile. So yeah, I technically haven't made this playlist today, but I'm a user of Apple Music, and every Tuesday Apple makes an hour and a half favourites mix. I'm pretty sure it's based upon songs that you add to playlists, like loads of different playlists, but I have a rather diverse music taste, so whenever Apple makes these mixes, they've pretty much got a bit of everything, and this week's mix I particularly enjoyed, so I thought I would share it with you. It's pretty much a shuffle of all my playlists put together, but a rather lovely kind of bunch and selection of songs. So the first song on the playlist made by Apple is one of my favourites by The Blossoms and also Chase and Status. Now, because it is a collaboration with Chase and Status back in 2016, by the way, I feel like it's A, one of The Blossoms' heavier tracks, but B, also underrated. So if you've never listened to this song, then here is a clip of it. Moving on, the next couple of songs in the playlist are all from the pop genre, so fairly different to what we just listened to there, which is what I love about these weekly favourite mixes. But throwing it back to March 2017, last year obviously, we have one of my favourites here from a bunch of artists. So we've got Young Thug, Pharrell Williams, Ariana Grande, and of course Calvin Harris with Heatstroke.
Let go and have a good time. Have a good time. Have a good time. You please let go and have a good time. Let's have a good time.
I just love that song because I feel as though it has that real kind of synth pop sound to it, almost as if it could fit back to like the 70s or 80s, dare I say. Also featuring Pharrell Williams, that also reminds me of that whole synth pop sound. Back in 2013 we have Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke, throwing it back a little bit.
Talking about getting blasted. These blurred lines. I know you want it. I know you want it. I know you want it. But you're a good girl. The way you grab me, must wanna get nasty. Go ahead, get at me. Everybody get up. What do they make you?
Next up we have a couple of dance house tracks. First with You Want Me from a couple of years ago in 2016 by Tom Zanetti, who's actually from Leeds, feat Sadie Amma.
City of Leeds, top boy vocalist, and that's for insomnia, yeah, that's sick.
Baby, I'm not here to start a fight, but I just wanna let you know. Cause the way that you've been treating me,
Yeah,
that's
that's
so
sick.
unfair, baby, it's so cold.
Sick.
Now for one of my personal favourite dance house anthems, Apple Music have included On My Mind by Disciples, released back in February 2017, if I'm correct. Next up, we have genuinely one of my favourite songs that has been released over the past couple of years. We have The Girl Is Mine, which is obviously a remix of Girl by Destiny's Child, originally released in 2004, which is a tune anyway, but I really love the remix because it's so upbeat, released in 2015 by 99 Souls, also featuring Brandy. The music video is also really cool, but I feel like the best songs in the charts nowadays are remixes of old songs. I don't know if that's just me because I love kind of older generation music, but I feel just like new stuff, it's very rare if, well, I actually enjoy it. I mean, obviously everyone else might enjoy it, but yeah. Got a bit of Justin Bieber and David Guetta now with To You in 2017. This doing really well in the summer charts last year, I remember, but probably one of the shorter song title names in history. However, doing well in the summer charts this year, Apple have included Rise by Jonas Blue feat. Jack and Jack, which I have been really loving this year, so it's nice to be hearing this on the favourites mix. Up now we have Breathe by Jax Jones, who whenever I see, their stuff in the charts, I always seem to really like. But this was released at the back end of last year and was also in the charts at the early end of this year.
Is it too late? But now it's hard to breathe. I'm not in love, it's just a game we do. I tell myself I'm not that into you, but I don't wanna sleep. It's 3:15, and now it's hard to breathe.
Another summer track of this year has been Solo by Clean Bandit feat. Demi Lovato. Again, both artists, whenever I see them in the charts, I always seem to really like their songs.
But I'm broken hearted. Since the day we partied, I got nobody, so I do it so long.
That song is now going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. Throwing it back to August 2014, I'm now going to be playing a clip of Heroes by Swedish DJ Alesso, featuring also Swedish singer Tovlo? I'm not too sure. Anyway, fun fact about this song, even though it has no similarity to the melody of David Bowie's 1977 Heroes, his and Brian Eno's names were added to the song's writing credits in July 2015 because Alesso allegedly said he didn't want to get sued even though they aren't similar, but he needed protection in case he annoyed Bowie, which I just found pretty funny, so I thought I would share with you. Now to 2015, one of the first ever Chainsmokers songs I ever listened to, called Roses, which was a single from their debut album Bouquet. So the rest of the songs on the playlist are all of the indie rock genre now, which is a bit strange that all the pop songs are together, then all of the sort of alternative songs are together. Anyway, one of my favourites at the minute is up first, which is called Light at the Edge of the World by a band from Liverpool called The Vril Society from their debut album Course of the Satellite, which I mentioned in my Best of New Music from August podcast, but I would definitely go and check out their stuff.
I think that people need to listen when it's all been revealed. And she used to say, can we stay here forever? I think I'm gonna like it here. I think
Up next is some Arctic Monkeys, who I'm sure you will have heard me bang on about in podcasts before, and it's Do I Wanna Know, which was released as a single from their 5th album AM, along with a B-side called 2013, which in a way I prefer because it's just not as overplayed, but here's a clip of Do I Wanna Know.
Crawling back to you. Never thought of calling when you're right here, 'cause I always knew. Maybe I'm too busy being lost to fall for surrounding you. Now I thought it through. Crawling back to you.
Another hit single now is Come Closer by Miles Kane from his debut album Colour of the Trap, released in 2011. Now I swear this song, or Inhaler, another one of Miles' hit songs, has been used in an advert or something. I can't think of which one, but here is a clip of it. On to some 1975 now, with one of their early singles, Sex, released as an EP in 2012, then re-recorded, I'm pretty sure, for their self-titled debut album released in 2013, and is for sure one of my favourites from that album.
But like that, 'cause she's still in school. She's got a boyfriend anyway. She's got a boyfriend anyway. Now we're on the bed in my room, and I'm about to finish this. Please say no. You say no.
Moving on to some Two Door Cinema Club now with Are We Ready, which was the band's lead single from their 3rd album Game Show, released in 2016, and it was also featured as a track in the soundtrack for FIFA 17, so you might recognise it from that if the name of the song isn't ringing a bell already.
With that mind of your own, are we ready? Hold it steady. We've made a mistake. We've lost our mind. We've lost our memory.
Now on to one of my favourites on the whole playlist, not to be biased, but it is Sweet Dreams Tennessee by The Last Shadow Puppets, who, if you aren't aware of, are made up of Miles Kane, who was about 3 songs ago on this playlist, and also Alex Turner, who is obviously frontman from Arctic Monkeys, with their 2016 album Everything You've Come to Expect. And yeah, it's not only one of my favourites on the playlist, but also one of my favourites from that album.
Sweet dreams.
Now on to the oldest song on the playlist, Thrown It Back the most here, with Take Her Back by the Pigeon Detectives, which was the band's 5th single, and it was also from their debut album Wait For Me, released on the 13th of August 2007, and it reached number 20 on the UK's singles charts, which is pretty good.
We've all been there, just 17, but he don't care. I don't think he knows the difference. 'Cause she's got everything he wants. She's got everything he needs. Take her back, 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 take her back to her place. She's got everything he wants. She's got everything he needs. Take her back, 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 take her back to her place.
I feel like this playlist has included a lot of like lead singles from albums, because up now we have The Man by The Killers, which was a single from their 5th album Wonderful Wonderful in 2017, and I remember listening to this for the first time, loving it and being so excited that The Killers were, you know, back. And Blossoms have also done a really cool cover of this in Radio 1's Live Lounge, so also check that out. But if you haven't ever listened to the song, also listen to it because it is a tune.
I got gas in the tank. I got money in the bank. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. I got skin in the game. I got a household name. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. When it comes to Friday, I always earn.
Now onto some Cortinas with one of their more recent releases, Modern Love, from their 5th album, released in 2016, which was actually recorded in France.
And we try, but I don't need this modern love. This modern love, oh, it always lets me down. This modern love.
Moving on to Sheffield band Milburn with the song Summertime from their 2nd album These Are Facts, also released in 2007, so another 11-year throwback here. And this was just before their 2008 split, before getting back together in 2016 and releasing their first single back, The Midnight Control, which is also one of my favourites by Milburn, but I feel like they're like a little bit underrated. But you probably have heard this song, so here is Summertime, all the way from 2007. Moving on to a song called Vivian by Sundara Karma, which was released first on a 2nd EP in 2015, but is also on their debut album from 2017 called Youth Is Only Ever Fun in Retrospect, which I think is a really cool album title. But yeah, here is a clip of it. It's a really good, underrated song, I feel.
Just to stay here with you, you know I'd give you it all. Vivian, Vivian.
Moving back to the present year, 2018, for the last 2 songs. First, we have one of the lead singles from the Coral's new album, Move Through the Dawn, called Sweet Release, which was released in April 2018, but the album was released in August 2018, and it's probably my favourite song from the album, so I'm glad that it's in the favourites mix. So here is a clip of Sweet Release. such a good song. I'm going to go and listen to it in full after I have finished this podcast. And to conclude the random favourites mix that Apple created for me last week, we have a song called Sad by a band called Fuzzy Sun from their first EP, Want Love. This is a really nice kind of chill song to finish a playlist and podcast for that matter, and it's one of my favourites by Fuzzy Sun, who have actually just released a new EP, so go and check them out. They remind me very much of Blossoms, who kickstarted this playlist, but that's possibly because they're under a management set up by the Blossoms, and Blossoms are managed by James Skelly from The Coral, who were the band before this, so it's all linked together. But yeah, here is a clip of it now. So like I say, that has concluded the podcast today. The playlist will obviously be available on Apple Music, as technically they are the creators of it, but I will also be making it on Spotify and here on YouTube for anyone that wants to listen to it for free. If you would like to listen to more podcasts where I talk through these random weekly favourite mixes, then let me know, as I think they're fun to do, as it's literally a shuffle button on my whole music taste. Be sure to, like this video, comment below, subscribe if you're feeling nice, and also check out my Instagram and Twitter. They'll be linked in the description of this video. And I'll see you next time. Bye!